Today on Art Scene we'll feature a local take on a worldwide celebration of art for all, Art Drop Day Denver. A clip from a local documentary, Cuba's Forgotten Jewels, A Haven in Havana. From Denver Arts and Venues, the Raw Denver Mural Project, and a Mayor's Awards for Excellence in Arts and Culture winner, the Clifford Still Museum. Every year, Art Drop Day Denver helps create random bonds between strangers through the act of creating and giving art. Hey, I'm Bobby Lefebvre here for another awesome edition of Art Scene. We're here at just one of the many locations where arts could be hidden for complete strangers to find and keep. This annual event takes place the first Tuesday in September, and there is even a pre-Art Drop Day party to help get the event started.
This is actually our second annual pre-Art Drop Day art making party in partnership with Recreative. This year is super fun because guests to our art making party can actually shop the store and then fill up one of these bins with wild finds, maybe some patterns, some fabrics, some beads. There are so many fascinating items here. This is one of my favorite creative spaces because you come through the door, not only is it super affordable because most of these items are donated, but it's also just like sensory overload. Ooh, that's neat, that's cool too. And I just find it really inspiring to be at Recreative.
I've heard about Art Drop Day for the last several years, and not being the most creative type myself, this is an opportunity to kind of express myself without putting a lot of investment into learning a new craft or a new skill. This is just a fun way to create something and then later on share it with the world. So we're making little lunchbox type things.
I've never participated in it before, but basically we hide different pieces of art all around the city. And yeah, it sounded kind of like a fun thing to try. Well, my girlfriend's pretty heavily involved, and she convinced me to come out, give it a shot, and it's been fun. Not quite sure what it's going to become, but hopefully somebody enjoys it.
Gosh, I just love Art Drop Day. It is so much fun. I've done it for about, 3 or 4 years now, and I think what's so exciting is discovering art in your community and using social media to kind of spark an adventure in the city. So some of the stuff that I found a piece of artwork in Cheeseman Park one year. I later connected with that artist. She invited me to come visit her studio. And then I met a group of folks visiting from the Netherlands, and I told them about Art Drop Day, and actually I gave my piece away to them. And so that piece of artwork went from Denver all the way back to the Netherlands, which was kind of neat. I do Art Drop Day with my 4 kids, so we're racing across the city looking for stuff. Oh, you missed that one, but there's another one that's just down the street. Let's go check that one, because you're always scrolling to check the clues to see if someone's found it or not. So it's become a day that you just really focus on creativity and art in the city and getting to meet, makers and shakers, creators here in the community. So let's go make some art.
All right, so we are here with the person responsible for bringing this event to Denver, Brooke Dilling, our friend from Denver Arts and Venues. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So how did this event come to Denver, and what's your role in that?
Initially, the concept started about 5 years ago when a friend of mine who was an illustrator was dropping art for this thing called World Art Drop Day. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. Did a little bit of research and thought we should really explore city's involvement next year. And so we started it 4 years ago by hiding blue bears across the city. People were really excited and wanted to involve themselves the next year. And every year since then, it's just built. More and more people are hiding art and finding art, and it's just been really fun.
What is the importance for artists and the community in general to participate in an event like this?
I think it's a great way for artists to build an awareness, a way to maybe build a brand and market for people that maybe would have never heard of the artist to see some of their work and find them. And really, it's a way for people just to connect to one another. We have people that maybe would have never met bonding over artwork, finding a little bit of joy in their day. It's just a really great way for people to connect in ways that they might not normally have connected, and to learn about all the great art that's happening in Denver.
Do you happen to know how many people are participating? How many artists are dropping art? How many people are finding it?
Last year, we had over 200 artists hide art throughout the city, and many of them hid multiple pieces. And we had as many, if not more, people running around trying to find art. People that would comment, "Oh, I just missed it. Where can I find more art?" There were people that were taking the entire day off of work just to run around and find art in Denver. So at least 500 people, if not more, participated last year.
And I bet this is only going to grow. So next year, if people wanted to sort of get ahead of this to make sure that they were able to participate, how do they do so?
They can sign up through our Facebook event page, Art Drop Denver. They can also go to the Denver Arts and Venue page and look for Art Drop Day and sign up to be on our listserv so that we can send them additional information. Art Drop Day is always the first Tuesday of September, which typically is the day after Labor Day, so they can start looking for things on the website or just in the news as we get closer to September as well.
So you're holding a piece of art here. Tell me about this.
So this piece of art was designed by Access Gallery. There are 11 pieces, actually 12 pieces of art that Access Gallery designed specifically for Art Drop Day. Each city council district has been given a piece of art that will be hidden in their council district so that people can go look for it. And the mayor is also hiding his own piece of art, so the mayor will be hiding art as well this year.
That's really, really cool. Kind of like a organized, disorganized scavenger hunt for art.
Yes.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Brooke, for all that you've done to bring this amazing event to Denver. We appreciate it, and thanks for chatting with us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
We'll have more with Art Drop Day Denver throughout our show. But next up, also from Denver Arts and Venues, the Raw Denver Mural Project. The Reimagining Arts Worldwide mural projects painted some exterior walls in the Sun Valley and Via Park neighborhoods.
It's the best artist I ever seen.
It was awesome, good job.
Thank you. And how does seeing all that type of stuff make you feel?
It makes my heart, it beats, and then I feel like my heart likes it.
Awesome stuff. As we head to break, I'm going to be searching for some of this art. But stick around, we got much more on the other side, including Cuba's Forgotten Jewels, a haven in Havana, the Clifford Still Museum, and more on Art Drop Day Denver. All right, so we are back on Art Scene looking for art on Art Drop Day Denver. And look who I found. It's Jay Berry, one of the participating artists. Jay has been out dropping art and even creating some new pieces. Jay, thank you so much for being with us here.
Oh, it's my pleasure, thanks.
So tell me a little bit about why you participate in Art Drop Day Denver.
In short, it's fun. It's really great to think of all these artists scurrying around Denver hiding their art, and then all these other people coming around and picking it up because they like it so much.
Absolutely. And so how did you get involved in Art Drop Day Denver?
Last year, I learned about it a week before it happened, and then I just started panicking and trying to get prints and stuff ready to drop, and then also to try to figure out where to drop them.
So last year, did you find out who may have picked up the pieces that you dropped?
Some people would actually post and say I got it, and some just disappear, so I have no idea who got them, but it's always nice to see who gets them, so I love to see them when they post and say I got it.
Yeah, so you're working on something here. What are you working on?
I've got two dancers. I really love to draw dancers in black and white just because you see the passion and connection that they have in their dance and stuff, and how they're just pretty much alone and in that moment right then and there.
So why dancers?
I'm a dancer.
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
I met my wife swing dancing, and so we love to go out dancing.
Okay, great. And I understand you create these cool mechanical bugs. Tell me about that.
The mechanical bugs came as a kind of a project that I was doing for my niece. We like to draw comics back and forth, and so I was figuring out what would be a good enemy for our superhero characters, and we came up with the idea of bugs, and they had to be mechanical, of course, and so I just started putting jetpacks on them and turbines and all sorts of crazy things. So,
wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So why is this event important?
It gets people out into the city. It gets the introvert artists out there as well for exposure and stuff. And it's just a fun all-day scavenger hunt.
So last year, in addition to dropping art, did you actually look for art as well?
Yes, I searched for art. I really wanted one of those miniature blue bears, and I found one. It was one of those things where my wife and I were working all morning, and it's like we have to get out, and I was watching them disappear one by one, and then finally we figured out one that was very difficult to find.
Yeah.
And then after we got that one, and I was dropping some pieces, then we went around trying to find some other ones that we liked. So it's just a matter of looking it up on social media to figure out, oh, I like that print, and then trying to figure out where they hit it.
So this event is great in that it sort of allows for a demystification of the art process, right? Because I think sometimes when people think about art, it's this kind of stuffy thing that doesn't exist in community like this. So tell me, why is that important?
It's wonderful to see that it's not always this regal painting full of, just stiff poses and everything. It could be dancers, or, well, obviously dancers, right? Or bugs, or abstract, or even like people will sculpt things. So it's great to see all the different kinds of art that people come out with.
Anything else that you'd like people to know about Art Drop Day Denver?
You can look for it with the hashtag ArtDropDenver, or your favorite artist's Instagram or Facebook page, and also Art Drop Denver's Facebook page will be posting all the hints and clues as to where you can find these pieces.
And so if people were interested in connecting with you, how can they find you on social media?
Look for j.berry on Instagram, and same thing with Facebook, it's jberry. Those are the best ways to find me, and also look for the hashtag ArtDropDenver.
Yeah, cool. We look forward to, maybe watching you drop some of this stuff, and I'm going to be looking for stuff all day myself.
All right.
Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Thank you.
Ha! Got one. Next up, from local filmmakers Robin Truesdale and Judy Creeth, a short clip of their documentary, Cuba's Forgotten Jewels, A Haven in Havana. The film was inspired by Judy's mother, who narrowly escaped from Nazi-occupied Belgium during World War II to the tropical paradise of Cuba.
Everybody left Belgium. They were afraid the Germans were going to invade very quickly. I was 10 years old. I was with my family. We tried to get across the channel to England, but it was Dunkirk, and they were only evacuating the troops. No civilians had a chance.
We were stuck in La Panne of the night of the Battle of Dunkirk. La Panne was just about 10 miles north of Dunkirk. And the Germans were dropping bombs both on Dunkirk and on where we were. And we were all staying in the living room covered under mattresses. I was about 13 at the time.
I was 10 and Laura was 8, and we were walking like you see people from Vietnam on the road. I don't know why the people go, where the heck are you going? But you're going, you're walking.
And I remember very, very clearly we were walking and we thought, oh my God, that's the end. Maybe we won't get out.
When the Nazis came into Belgium, my father went ahead of his family to scout out a route to safety. My father got to Spain, and there was a small number of visas available towards Cuba. So he got a visa for himself and for his brother and his parents, and they went to Cuba.
You couldn't buy visas to the United States, so you took whatever you could get. You know, there are many Havanas. There's a Havana of rum and cigars. There's a Havana of casinos and gangsters. There's colonial Havana.
My father loved the music of Cuba. He loved to go out.
I remember the music, and I'm 85 years old and I still remember it. I remember it as soon as it starts. I could never move like a Cuban. I never could do it, but I got pretty close. But there is a fluidity, a way of moving that the Cubans have. And they barely move, and yet, I don't know that anybody can acquire who's not. And the way the men move is divine, you know. They just move very little, but where they don't throw themselves around very much. But very often, the movement is very subtle. It takes me over. I mean, brings the past into the present. Music can do that. The women just made music with their bodies. It was so wonderful. I love the music in Cuba. When I was little, every window was open. And in my opinion, the women in Havana learned how to walk to the music. Your body goes, even when you're angry, your body goes with the rhythms. And the rhythms are unbelievable, and the music is unbelievable. And to tell you, that was one of the best parts.
That was some great Cuban music. You know, many of the refugees to Cuba during that time were diamond merchants from Antwerp. They were able to relocate the diamond polishing business to Havana during Nazi occupation, thus saving their industry and providing jobs to many of the refugees who were able to gain passage to Cuba. The full documentary will be shown in November in Boulder. We'll be back with more Art Drop Day Denver. But first, a winner of the Mayor's Awards for Excellence in Arts and Culture, the Clyfford Still Museum.
Clyfford Still was actually raised on the prairies of eastern Washington State. Nothing in his biography would have predicted he would have been an artist. He was raised in farm country. He taught himself how to make a painting, mastered it probably very early in his life. He was throwing everything he had into being an artist, and in fact, he became a great one.
What's very interesting about the story of the Clyfford Still Museum is the artist died in 1980, and his will was very simple. He would give his entire collection, which he kept virtually intact, to an American city that would build or designate permanent quarters for his collection.
Our now governor, then Mayor John Hickenlooper, he was really the one that made the pitch, if you will, to Mrs. Still directly, and thankfully she agreed that Denver would be the best place for this collection. The vision for the museum really is to be more than just a show place for the art, and hopefully being a gathering place.
This is a fantastic building that was designed by the architect Brad Klopfel. He took the time to understand Clyfford Still the artist. He took advantage of the abundance of natural light that blesses Colorado. It's a wonderful visitor experience to come through. 9 galleries gives the patron an opportunity to really express and almost communicate with Clyfford Still's work. For the Clyfford Still Museum in 2016 to be asked to contribute works of art to an international exhibition of abstract expressionism shown in both London and Bilbao, Spain was a huge honor.
Between the two venues, over 675,000 people saw the 9 Still paintings.
It really put Clyfford Still on the map, but it also put the city and county of Denver on the map, and we're pleased to be stewards of such an incredible collection. What we love so much about this museum is that people really have a very personal, unique experience, and you can see that as they come through. They're contemplating, they're reacting, they're interacting with the paintings.
One of the things that I think is very unique about this museum is the fact that we're still in the process of unpacking things. We're still unrolling paintings, stretching canvases. I often feel like we're only minutes or days ahead of our visitors. Most of our collection areas, the painting storage, the conservation studio that we're in today, are all fronted with glass windows. And they've become very popular areas for visitors. And I think that gives a slightly different experience to what people may see at larger institutions.
The future for Clyfford Still Museum, I think, stands within the artwork and the abundance of it that we have. It's a unique situation for Denver to become the only home ever for this incredible collection.
One of the things we're really committed to is accessibility and removing some of the barriers that prevent people from visiting art museums. We have probably 200 hours a year where there's free admission to the museum. We're open every Friday night, free of charge. And I think that's a very important part of what Denver's trying to do, is to use our cultural assets, our cultural amenities, and make sure that they reach and touch people's lives.
Got another one. Good luck today. Okay, so we are back here with Art Drop Day Denver, and look who I found. It's Sylvia. Sylvia, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So how old are you?
I'm 6.5, almost 7.
All right, so Sylvia, it's my understanding that you and your mom went looking for art during Art Drop Day Denver last year, and you found this amazing pot right here, right? Tell me a little bit about it.
We found it at the Smiley Library, and people were just dropping art that Tuesday. It's kind of like rough right here and smooth in other places, and it's really designed and colorful. I like the sticks in it and the handle.
Very cool. And so when you're not holding it here, when it's at your house, where does it go?
Well, it either goes, we have a cupboard that has a glass window so we can see, and then sometimes it goes on my dresser in my bedroom.
And you are participating this year again in Art Drop Day Denver, yeah?
Yes.
What are you hoping to find this year?
I don't know.
Are you hoping to find something?
Yes.
So what do you tell someone who says that they are not an artist? What are your thoughts about that?
Everybody can create something.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much for chatting with us. We hope that you find some art today.
Thank you. I hope I do too.
Hey, thanks to Denver Arts and Venues for sponsoring Art Drop Day Denver. Oh, got another one. We'll see you next time as we discover more of Denver's art scene.